we've had a start, ladies and gentlemen, in the Open Club Women's 4 Championship of Australia. Melbourne University, the title holders in this event. Lane 2, Banks, Chelsea Frawley, Sophie Richards, Emma Thomason and Ashley McBean. Matthew Wilson, one of the coaches at Banks, looking after this crew. Melbourne Rowing Club, Tanya Nishibata, Stephanie Eaves, Erin Carrigy, Helen Purdy, coaches Stuart McShane and John Redaway. Sydney University Women's in Station 4, Grace Michell, Sabina White, Sarah Sackville and Michelle Battersby, coaches Gonzalo Briones and William Townsend. Lane 5, Adelaide Rowing Club, Lydia Yerrell, Mika Webb, Jessica McRae and Emma Basher. Lane 6, Melbourne University, Emily Hamilton, Claire Endersbee, Emma Webley, Lucy Stephan, coaches Victoria Roberts and Peter Kupkas. And Lane 7, Western Australian Rowing Club, Emma Harding, Bridget Colby, Darcy Miller, Meg Downs and Matthew Higgins, the coach of that crew. The Open Club men's double scull result is now official. Melbourne University, Hamish Rowlands and Gary Butcher were first. Second, Sydney Rowing Club, Dean Robinson and Dearman Ryan. Third, University of Western Australia, Greg Saplin and Warwick Yates. The winning time 6:39.11. The margin's 5.62 by 5.10. Now in the Open Club Women's 4 Championship, Melbourne University have got away well. They're the title holders. The crew of Emily Hamilton, Claire Endersbee, Emma Webley and Lucy Stephan. They're on 35.5 strokes to the minute. Coached by Vicky Roberts and Peter Kupkas. So great to see Vicky Roberts after her retirement from rowing now getting involved in the coaching. And Melbourne Rowing Club have got away well also. Tanya Nishibata, Stephanie Eaves, Erin Carrigy and Helen Purdy. Coaches Stuart McShane and John Redaway. So the Melbourne University Boat Club crew swinging along well there on about 33 strokes to the minute. And they're the leaders, looking to make it back-to-back in this event. Not sure how many of these girls were in last year's crew. The crew from the Western Australian Rowing Club finding the pace very hot for them in the early stages, and have dropped off the pace very early in the proceedings, and similarly with Banks, who are back now in about 4th or 5th. But Melbourne University and Melbourne Rowing Clubs are the two leading boats. After they go to the 500 metres, it is Melbourne University 143.31. They've got the rate up on 35 strokes to the minute. And they've been passed now going through there by Melbourne Rowing Club. Melbourne Rowing Club have gone to the lead over Melbourne University, then back to Sydney University. Gonzalo Briones and William Townsend coaching Sydney University. Adelaide holding down 4th, and as I said, Banks and Western Australian Rowing Clubs finding the pace set by the crews in the middle lanes a little too hot for them and starting to feel the pinch early. Melbourne got to the lead just as they hit 500 metres, 143.31. There's 0.44 clear of Melbourne, leading Melbourne University, then 0.99 back to Sydney University, 0.64 back to Adelaide, 0.43 back to Banks and 3.75 back to the Western Australian Rowing Club crew. Conventionally rigged, the Melbourne University Boat Club crew, 35 strokes to the minute. Behind their stroke, Lucy Stephan, but the Melbourne Rowing Club crew are setting the pace. Helen Purdy stroking that crew, Erin Carrigy, Stephanie Eaves and Tanya Nishibata. They're 1.79 clear of Sydney University now, have moved through and have taken second place. Grace Michell, Sabina White, Sarah Sackville and Michelle Battersby. Melbourne University under pressure to hold on to third as Adelaide Rowing Club improves. Lydia Yerrell, Mika Webb, Jessica McRae and Emma Basher. 37.5 strokes to the minute. Emma Basher is a pretty well performed athlete, and she's been able to represent Australia at underage regattas in the past, and she's on a bit of a comeback trail here, but not committed to the interstate boat, so they're just rowing the Open Club Women's 4, doing a good job for her club, Adelaide Rowing Club. So Melbourne at 1,000 metres, 1.79 clear of Sydney University. Melbourne University just 0.48 back, so it's about 2/3 of a length by a canvas, a further canvas back to Adelaide, then a length back to Banks and 2 or 3 lengths back to Western Australian Rowing Club, destined to finish in 6th place unless they can turn things around in the next little while. Melbourne on 33.5, they're nice and long in the water. the crew from Melbourne Rowing Club, Tanya Nishibata, Stephanie Eaves, Erin Carrigy and Helen Purdy. And the Melbourne crew on 34, 33, Sydney Uni on 34 and a half. And Melbourne doing a terrific job here. Sydney University starts the charge. They're in the mix as well. Melbourne and Sydney University. Sydney University have taken the lead in that third 500. They continue to push through. Sydney University, Grace Michell, Sabina White, Sarah Sackville and Michelle Battersby. They lifted the rate in the third 500 metres and they've taken the lead away from the crew from Melbourne. Melbourne Uni led early. Melbourne went to the lead after 500. Then at 1500, the crew from Sydney University pushed all the way through. And they've got their bow in front now of the Melbourne Rowing Club crew. It's whether Sydney University can hang on. They're just waving the blades around a little there, not quite as precise as some of the other crews, but working hard is the crew from Sydney University to hang on to that lead tenaciously from Melbourne and Adelaide, and the early pace setters. Melbourne University's tiring out of it. Still 33 and a half strokes to the minute for Sydney University Rowing Club. In the middle of the field, they've got to look back at them now. I think the others have got the job in front of them. Sydney University, they've got Adelaide on their bow side, Melbourne Rowing Club on their stroke side, and Adelaide might be the crew to peg them back. Melbourne look as though they've spent all their pennies. They're starting to go up and down in the one spot. The crew's under pressure now, just steering off a little. The umpire getting them back into the middle of their lane. Sydney University about 3/4 of a length clear of over Adelaide, then back to Melbourne, and Melbourne University trying to get back on level pegging with Melbourne for that all-important bronze medal. But Sydney University have timed their run to perfection. Grace Michell, Sabina White, Sarah Sackville, Michelle Battersby, coached by Gonzalo Briones and William Townsend. They just settled into a rhythm in the first 1,000, went to the lead with 500 to go and have gone on with it. Sydney University women's first, Adelaide Rowing Club second, Melbourne hangs on for third, Melbourne University fourth, Banks will be fifth, and sixth will be the Western Australian Rowing Club. Unofficially 7:06.87.
And of course, all today's racing is being telecast on WCSN. We're delighted to have them live streaming all the races today, right through to the King's Cup on WCSN.
Presentation of medals for the Australian Champion Club Women's 4 2011. The medals will be presented by Susie Palfreyman, Olympian, representing Designer Paintworks Regatta Shop, a sponsor of this regatta. In third place, and winners of the bronze medals, representing Melbourne Rowing Club, Tanya Nishibata, Stephanie Eaves, Erin Carrigy and Helen Purdy. Coaches Stuart McShane and John Redaway. In second place, and winners of the silver medals representing Adelaide Rowing Club, Lydia Yerrell, Mika Webb, Jessica McRae and Emma Basher. And the 2011 champions and winners of the gold medals, representing Sydney University Women's Rowing Club, Grace Michell, Sabina White, Sarah Sackville and Michelle Battersby. Coaches Gonzalo Briones and William Townsend. Now, Michelle, what we thinking about as you were coming down that course? What was the call and what were your minds on in that race?
I was just really thinking about doing it for the girls. We put a lot into this crew. We trained really hard for it and really just bonded together. And so I really just wanted to do it for the crew, do it for us.
And it all worked. Who's behind all the success?
Sydney University Boat Club. It's a proud moment. So, yeah, all the training, all the effort really paid off.
Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate the medalists in the Champion Women's Club 4 of Australia 2011.